About 3 years back, I got diagnosed with COVID-19. It was 2022 February, and my baby girl was about 9 months when we had COVID to the entire family. So I was the culprit who brought the distinct disease to the home. So I was isolated in a room in Badulla because my wife works in Badulla. So I took it from my office at AIA all the way through Badulla. So that's how I took it. So during that time, I had nothing to do. I couldn't interact with my family and baby, so I was isolated. At that time, I had a printout of a book called Rich Dad and Poor Dad. Have you read that book? Beautiful, right? We have 4 people who have read that book in the audience. So for these 4 people, the content that I'm going to discuss in the next 18 minutes won't be that strange. So I'm not a good reader. I don't read very often. So, but fortunately, since I didn't have anything to do, so I happened to read that book. And then today I'm going to talk about certain things that Robert Kiyosaki discussed in this book called Rich Dad and Poor Dad. So before I start my presentation, I would like to highlight that any person, anyone, before getting his first salary should read this book. That's my take on the book. So I'm going to talk about 7 principles. Not all the 7 principles are based on Rich Dad and Poor Dad. Certain things are from the things that I have read and all that. So basically I'm going to talk about 7 principles that we need to follow for us to have better financial state in life. So first principle that I would love to share, that when it comes to personal financial planning, the first thing that we need to have is a budget. Right. So I'm going to ask a question from the audience. How many of you prepare a budget for the month? Can I see a raise of hand? Beautiful. Okay. So first principle is first thing to start personal financial planning, or if you want to have financial wellness, is to prepare a budget. Why? Why budget?
Know the limits.
So you will understand the limits. First thing is, when you prepare a budget, you'll have 2 sides, income and expenses. So you can, like, first thing is you can work on the expenses. So I will discuss more about this in detail in coming tips. So first thing is to work on the expenses. Now there are certain things like needs and wants. Okay, so there are certain needs, but in this budget, when you prepare a list of expenses, you will understand that there are certain things which are not needs but wants. You can avoid, or you can postpone that into the next month. So which can be used for savings and all that. The other thing is you can work on the income side as well. Now, if you are depending on one particular income, so you can think of the like generating another income and all that. So that is the first principle. So if you are not doing it, if you are not preparing a budget, so I urge everyone to prepare a budget so that you will have better financial state in coming months. Okay, the second item on the agenda is creating an emergency fund. So emergency fund is a fund which comes into play when we can't get our income. Let's say if I lose my job, or else let's say what if I can't work because of, let's say, a critical illness, because of a disease, or let's say if something happens like COVID-19 and we can't work, the working is not possible. In such a scenario, we need to have an emergency fund. Now, the general principle is we need to have an emergency fund for at least 6 months so that you can come out of your comfort zone and you can start working on something so that you will have your regular income coming in. So creating an emergency fund is important. So there are quick things that you can do, like getting a insurance policy, so which will create some amount of emergency fund, like for uncertainties, like if I can't work because of a critical illness, or if I'm total permanent disabled, if you have like dependents, you need to have a life cover to cover up the day-to-day expenses. So think of a emergency fund. So start saving for the emergency fund. Okay, so this has some other areas to discuss, like how we can create the emergency fund, what are the investment strategies and all that. So within these 18 minutes I can't discuss all this, so I will simply say that think of an emergency fund. So that is number 2. So the third area is pay yourself first. So I will not allow the people who have read the book to answer this question. So what does this mean? Pay yourself first.
Prioritize yourself first.
Okay, thank you very much. That's a beautiful answer. Can someone elaborate it if you have any idea? Okay, thank you very much. What's your name, ma'am? Pooja. Thank you, Pooja, for the answer. So now, talking about pay yourself is a revolutionary concept which discussed in this Rich Dad Poor Dad book. But generally, what we do is, what is the first expense that you pay? Example, when you get salary.
House rent.
Rent, beautiful. Thank you very much. What are the things?
Electricity bill.
Electricity bill. Because if you don't pay rent, you'll have to leave the house. If you don't pay electricity, so you will not have electricity in the next coming days, right? So you pay all the bills, and then you allocate some amount of funds for groceries and all that.
Mainly shelter.
Mainly shelter.
Yeah.
So shelter and food, medicine. So when you want to save something, you put at the end, right? Am I right? So that is what we do. But when we pay all the expenses, right, at some months we don't have anything to save. I don't know, it happens to me. I'm not sure whether it's the same for you as well. But we think, okay, it's myself, no? Okay, I'll do it next month. Don't we think like that? We do. Now Robert Kiyosaki asks us to pay yourself first. Invest in your retirement plan, or invest in savings, or whatever the expense that you can have, maybe 10% of your income, save it, and then think about other expenses. Now you might be thinking, this guy is an idiot, right? He is asking us to pay yourself first, and who's going to pay? Are you going to pay rent? No. So nothing like that. So Robert Kiyosaki says, now when you prioritize yourself, the expenses which are coming at last are compulsory. Electricity, rent, you can't avoid. So you work on something to pay that expense. That's the principle discussed by Robert Kiyosaki, not Dhananjay. Okay, so that is the principle of paying yourself first. So think of, so when you prioritize yourself first, so you save 10% of your income, not in life insurance, huh? You can save anywhere, right? I'm not promoting life insurance. But you save anywhere, and then for the remaining expenses, you work on something, right? So I can't, like, certain, like, bosses are and subordinates are here, so I can't promote side hustles and all that. Okay. So, but you can think of something like, something like a passive income or side hustle, so that will manage your lower part. Okay, so all that, this is possible when you prepare a budget only. So that's why I told you that is principle. That's the first thing. So this is the third principle. Now, if you look at the fourth one, this is also very important: assets and liabilities. Do we see any liabilities in this picture? So there's a car, house, and this guy has some investments, it seems. Now, in this book, he discussed two types of things, which are assets and liabilities. He says, if some item is there, and if that item takes money out of your pocket, that is a liability. If that item takes money into your pocket, it's an asset. So by looking at this car is a liability because you don't get any income. But if you're running Uber using this car, that is going to be an asset. But here in Dubai, you can't run an Uber unless you have a Lexus, right? So in Sri Lanka, I had a small car. So what I did was, on the way to office, I put Uber. So someone joins me, so I get off my petrol, go to office. When I come back also, I put Uber, so I come back. So there was an option to put direction towards your home. So so you can do something like that if you have an asset. So and in the meantime, he says he is not asking you to be stingy as well. Right? Okay, so without having a car, go by bus, not like that. He says, one day he goes to an exotic car showroom and he picks a car that he wants to buy. Okay, and then he comes out of the shop and says to his wife, now I need to look for an investment to finance this car. So that's the way he look at things. Now, even house is also same. But you can convert this into asset. How?
Right.
Giving on rent.
Even liability also can be converted. If you pay somebody and income can be generated from that.
Exactly. I think Tosa Sudhudri can answer this question. Can you imagine, the types of accommodations in Dubai, right? There's a thing called bed space, I'm not sure whether you know. There's a room and then you have, I don't know the right English word for that, we call it bunker bed, I don't know. So you have a couple of bunker beds and then you rent it out and people come. Do you believe that in Airbnb there are bed space to rent? There are. So possibilities are endless. So you can use Airbnb. Actually, the concept of the Airbnb was also that. So you share your part of your house and then you earn some income. So you can convert your house to an asset by doing that. So next time when you're thinking of buying something, so think whether it is a liability or an asset. Okay, so that is both principle. Okay. Living within your means. I'm not going to discuss much about it, which means like this comes with a personal preference as well. Like if you are using your credit card very often, it means like you have the probability of going beyond your means, right? When you're going beyond your means, you will financially struggle, right? So it could be the type of accommodation, type of area that you select. If you take Dubai, maybe like there are certain things I'm not going to go into detail because you will judge me if I tell you this. Like it says like if you are having like overrated coffee quite often without a purpose. Like if you're having an important meeting with a client at Starbucks, that's all right. But let's say if you are like using it without a purpose, it comes under going beyond your means. It is a personal thing, so I'm not going to talk much about it. Okay. Number 6. So this is something I love. Creating multiple income sources or passive income sources. Can I see if you have more than 2 income sources? Beautiful. Nice. Nice to see that. So think of a passive income source as well. Like when you're not working, money comes to your bank account. So what are some passive income sources?
Fixed deposits.
Fixed deposit. Okay. Yeah. Anything else? Stock market. Stock market is a very big passive income source. You can. Sorry. Mutual funds. Mutual funds are specifically if you are like investing in mutual funds. Indian mutual funds are performing really well these days. Like they're crazy. So if you are into mutual funds, so think about Indian market. So mutual funds, stocks, FDs, even the rent, those things comes under passive income. You can start your YouTube channel, alright? You can start your blog. So there are a lot of things. You can start your page and talk what you know. So these things might, be a passive income for you. Okay. Last thing. So this is nothing to do with myself. Okay. Seek for the professional advice. So don't come to Dhananjaya. I'm not promoting myself, but if you want to manage your finances well, give the advice of an expert who has been there in the market, whose bread and butter is investment and these things. So think about these areas so that you will have better financial well-being in years to come. So before I conclude, I want to ask you, what is your favorite out of 7? I will quickly glance at creating budget. 6. You want 6. Okay, creating an emergency fund. There is a mistake. There's a mistake. Sorry. Pay yourself first. Assets and liabilities. Living within your means. Multiple income sources or passive income sources, and getting a professional advice. Certain things are interlinked. So they are related. What's your favorite one?
2 and 7.
Sorry?
Number 2 and 7 both.
Number 2 and 7.
And then seek professional advice.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Number 7.
Number 7. Okay.
Pay yourself.
Beautiful. Thank you very much.
1 and 6.
1 and 6. Beautiful. Okay. Do you have any questions? Better not. Any questions?
How many years you follow in your life?
Sorry?
How many years you follow?
I told you to not talk about That's a disclaimer. How many things you follow? Okay. Okay. I create a budget. Number 1, I have emergency fund. I have taken life insurance for this. Unfortunately, I'm working on creating a fund. Pay yourself first. I still follow that. For certain months, I put it in the budget, but I haven't invested it anywhere. So that's reality. So I'm a big fan of this. And yeah, this one very much. Working on this too. So please subscribe to my YouTube channel. So I seek professional advice to I speak to mentors when I have a struggle. When I struggle, we approach Toastmaster Kumri and ask. So things like that. So you will have a question. So you had a question, yeah.
Yeah, now it's gone, but I will ask, and also a kind of promotion to you, that even before I know you, Toastmaster Dhananjaya, I could remember there was one YouTube video about the passive income that you posted, no?
Yes.
So I request you to, share it in our link, I mean the before you club. That is really nice one. That I watched even before I met you.
Oh.
Okay, before that. Yeah.
Is it?
Yes, yes.
Wow.
Then
I'm famous.
so please post it. That will be really
I'll
useful. And
I'm a music
second,
singer, so you will be able to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
and also elevated pitch. So if both, if you can post, that will really good. Yeah.
I will have some subscribers today. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. I enjoyed the presentation.